promote you like you're going on.
All good. We are live now though on Twitch, so whenever you're ready. Right, perfect timing, right? Oh man. Cool. All right, and then we are just waiting for Preacher to do the clap, and then we'll be good to go. This is weird because I can see the Discord, I can see the thing recording, and now I can see the live stream. So like I see myself 3 times. It's too much.
Whoa, okay.
I gotta minimize
Inception.
one.
Streamception.
All right, we are ready to do the clap when you are.
I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay, I'll just do 3, 2, 1, and then 0 clap. Clap on 0. I mean. All right.
Okay.
Do we go on go?
Yep. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Hunters Hub. This is your host Fortuan, joined by 2 guests tonight. Because my 3 other hosts are indisposed for some other reason or another. But joining us tonight, Preacher of Valor. How you doing?
Hi. Morning. Good evening. Good universe. Oh, you doing well?
It's morning and evening somewhere.
Right.
And then also Wyverian 4G. Welcome. Sorry to catch you as you're drinking.
Hello.
So a little bit of backstory. Pan has a dinner party that she's hosting, so she's not here. Ace was invited to this super cool party, and Sasha is still on leave due to a family tragedy, but she will be back next week. I haven't really talked about it on the show what it is. I think it's like, I know what happened, but I think it's I think she'd like to keep that private. So, but they're getting through it. Doing some things. She's spending some time with her family this week, and prayers, love, and healing for Sasha and her family is all I can really say about it. So yeah, we were going to talk about some of the Monster Hunter community and what's been going on lately. So if you're watching on Twitch, it's the Monster Hunter community checkup. Is the way I'm going to call it.
Oh, you changed the name?
Yeah. No. That's just like, I don't know, the topic. I don't do Twitch very often.
Okay.
This stream, it's always just chatting. I'm not good with the streaming stuff. Because I don't do it often. And I can't stream games because my internet's so bad here. So like, just streaming like us talking is about the limit of what I can do. I would
imagine all the kids like streaming Coco Melon.
Oh geez, yeah. No, I tried streaming Ghost Runner once, and it looked like a slideshow. It's like here's like a sword, and here's like a dead guy, and here's like another sword, and here's a wall, and here's a game over screen, and then
What is that? Stock motion films? When they like make the little characters and have them move one at a time.
Yeah. Every time I have like a post-it book, I always make one. I always draw little characters in the post-it book, and
Oh, nice! Oh, the stick figures.
Yeah.
They need to keep running. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an artist. I just ordered a professional art pad. I have this. I can actually pull it up because it's actually at this like this janky $20 one I've had for years. That
Jeez.
if you've ever like seen some of the art stuff I put on Twitter, that's what I do it with, and it's not very good, and I hate it.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't done
something today.
I didn't. I haven't done one in a while though. But I like to try to do it with my D&D articles. Which, real quick, I just released the Fantastical Spiders. If you're interested in D&D, a bunch of spiders you can use in your D&D campaigns for Halloween. Because it is the night before Halloween that we're recording tonight. So I was hoping to get those out. So before we get into our main topic, I know this doesn't involve you two very much, but I do want to talk about why we missed last week. And that's because I was at, what do they call? I was trying to think. I might have an example of some of the cards here. I do. behind me. They're in this big folder. I was at the Calling, and that is a big event for Flesh and Blood Trading Card Company, trading card game.
I'm looking that up right now.
And the Calling Cincinnati, which is the closest one to me. The next one is in Miami, which I will not be going to. And it's like a new trading card game. If you're familiar with Magic, it's made by some people who are Magic fans, and sort of just getting to play. The way I like to describe it is it's like a constructed Magic deck that is made out of Commander, sort of. And I'll do a little explanation of this game because I love it. I didn't do well, by the way. I only did, out of 8 rounds, I didn't make this top 64 cut because once you lose 3 times, you're out. I lost 5 times and drew once.
Ooh. Wait, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm seeing this national championship for United States. The prize pool was $50,000 for this game?
Yes.
Or am I wrong? Oh my god!
Yeah, they just announced that there's $1 million prize pool for the next year.
God damn.
Yeah.
What? I gotta get in this game. I gotta get in this game, man. There's no way. Oh my god! Please tell us what this is about.
Okay.
I'm looking at this right now.
So, I'll put this up. You play as a hero, like this one. I don't know if it's backwards or not. It looks backwards to me. Her name's Lexi. She's an elemental ranger, and she shoots arrows. And you play as a hero, and you get to equip your hero. And this isn't for Lexi, with a weapon and armor and stuff. So you start with this stuff on the field. So you start with all this stuff on the field. You are this character, and your deck consists of cards which you can play. And it's hard to see, but there's a yellow band up here, and that indicates how much this card is worth resource-wise. So red is 1, yellow's blue, and blue is... Whoa, I said that wrong. Red is 1, yellow's 2, and blue is 3.
Okay.
And then there's a cost, and this costs 2, so it's a yellow that costs 2. So any card can be a resource or played. And then there's attack and defense values. So you can defend with a card if you're on defense, and you can attack with it if you're on offense. And you take turns being on offense and defense. That's kind of the gist of the game. It's really cool because every card matters to a degree. Like, not all cards can attack and defend, but it's not like Magic where you get mana flooded or that kind of thing. You actually have cards to defend and attack with, and they are the same cards. It's more about how much do I want to sacrifice to stay alive and still have a turn, is really the case of the game.
Wow, you were telling the truth. Oh my god. Pro Play 2022 will be $1 million prize pool.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Woo-wee!
personally, I'm just trying to get a local league started. Hey, welcome, Mighty Peanut. And it's fun. I've been playing trading card games off and on since middle school. I've never really dove hard. This is the first one I've dove hard into. I have bought way too many cards. Way too many. I'm trying
to understand. So, is it like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh where you buy like the trading card packs, or is it like a whole deck you get?
It's like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. You buy the trading card packs.
Okay.
You do, like, there are expensive cards. I will say the most expensive card I own right now is $150.
Bro, what? You said this game been out since 2017?
19.
2019.
19, so it's still really fresh.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. This thing came out November of that year. Its first big thing launched during COVID. So, like, they had a lot of struggles to begin with because of COVID. Like, could you imagine launching a new product and COVID happens? Like, oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I might want to give this a little shot. Just a little bit. Just say I did it.
Oh, it's fun. Even I would say even at a casual level. I'm not going to be playing professionally, personally. I couldn't. I wouldn't have the time or resources to travel the world like that. But I am very interested in a local community and actually trying to get into like judgeship and kind of stuff like that. So
So if you join, like, so example, 2022 comes around, right? And then we're like, hey, we want to go ahead and participate. We have to go around the planet to go duel other people to win.
if you're in the Pro Tour, I would assume, yeah.
Okay, so this is like almost like Street Fighter level.
Yeah, yeah, and it's trading card game, you know, like if you're familiar with the Magic community, playing at a professional level is not easy.
Mm,
So
no.
it'd be like that. But that's not the market I'm after in it. I'm just trying to get my local game store and I to start a league together and to play with a bunch of people for a long time. That's all I'm really after. I just went to the
I hope
Cincinnati
you do it
one.
because it looks amazing. I hope you do it.
Cincinnati's only 2.5 hours away from me, so that was easy to get to, and that's why I was able to go. So yeah, there's my spiel about a card game I've been talking about. You can actually sign up as a content creator and actually get featured and get some products sometimes too. And I did that, but we don't have a Flesh and Blood show, so it's under review. This will
I'm
be
definitely gonna look into this. Thank you. I'm gonna send this out to my community. Like, check this out here.
yeah, it's good. I love it. I was a long time Magic pseudo casual player, and then here we are. So anyways, so we're here to talk about Monster Hunter community and other stuff as well. So I think the first thing, and I think one of the personally, in my opinion, the bigger things lately is Wyverian. You had some run-ins, and you're making some changes. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
So sometimes the Monster Hunter community gets on my fucking nerves, right?
Yeah, amen.
Like,
I think any
I-
community can.
yo, you're right. Any community can, but there are some people on Twitter, and I know Twitter is not a real place,
Yeah.
but listen, when you're on there as much as I am, sometimes it kills my brain cells, right? And I need breaks because, like,
Oh yeah.
I feel like, oh my god, everything gets taken out of context on Twitter, everything, and
It's confirmation bias is what it is.
I'm
Yeah.
tired of this shit. All right, I'm tired. So I want to branch out from Monster Hunter. You know, so
More power to
think
you.
of
man.
it. Think of it like a tree branch, right? So you got Monster Hunter at the roots. You know, and then you have other games branching out. You know, so Monster Hunter won't be going anywhere. But sometimes I need a break from these motherfuckers. You
That's
know?
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Like-
fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a break. And for anyone who's watching this that does follow me, I'm not talking about everyone. If the shoe fits, but
Okay.
but yeah.
So
But overall, I don't think the community at large is toxic or anything like that.
no. No.
Yeah, I think like every community has its toxic sides, but
And
for the most part, I think Monster Hunter is pretty wholesome. For the most part, honestly.
it's easy to be leaning towards the wholesome end when it's a team game, right? Like
Yeah.
anytime you go on a hunt, you guys are working together, right? There's no I mean, only Monster Hunter World really introduced any sort of competition with the little achievements at the end of a hunt. Which Ace, you have stolen way too many of my Part Breaker awards. I just I just like breaking parts. So Preacher, have you chat is asking what are your thoughts on sort of branching out as well?
I can relate because I've done that like 2 years ago. My
Mm-hmm.
idea was to always want to stream Monster Hunter because I've been playing Monster Hunter since like it's a conception of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I stopped was the fact that my vision for wanting to play the game and then wanting to stream it got blurred. Where I wanted to honestly just have a family, a group of hunters who just wanted to play Monster Hunter, every
Yeah.
other day and just have a good time, compared to let me stream so I can grow on a platform where there's arbitrary like personas of individuals who come watch your show and actually participate with you. And
Yeah.
that the lines became blurred. We're like, what am I actually doing this for? So I had to step back and reflect and realize like anything I do as a content creator is going to impact my community in some shape or form. Whether I feel like when it comes to Monster Hunter, if I'm a small, Hunter Andy on a platform where I'm a big influence just in general in my community, it does matter because I'm not afraid to say thanks to me, a lot of people in my community of the Black Rose Order, a lot of people start playing Monster Hunter. Everybody was like, 2K Andy, let me go play Madden or whatever like that. You know how
Mm-hmm.
the New Yorker gamers do. So when I realized that like I'm making a difference where I have an opportunity to have my family just in my own fold compared to like let me look to different islands of Monster Hunter, because I firmly believe, regardless
Oh
of the
yeah.
fact that, people say Monster Hunter is toxic or whatever, everybody's in little niches at the end of the day. Like you might fall in lines of finding one toxic person from one community, but have you been to the Monster Hunter Hub? Have you been to YW4G's community? Have you been to Monster Hunter YC community? There's different people and you're going to get different attitudes from everybody. So what are you sensitive about, So
Mm-hmm.
whereas it's the difference if you just put that stigma on the entire community, it's one or two people. Relax. It's not the end of the world. You're gonna end up being chummy and toxic yourself with your pals by, golf swinging them into a fatty or something like that, or having a gubble eat somebody that's new to the Monster Hunter game, or for that matter, even have them get, hit checked by a Jaggy. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, I feel like toxic or being, I don't know, being just rude in general, it's like a culture. It's like a language that everybody just interpretates into their own niche.
Yeah.
So
When so it's awesome that you guys to me that you're in New York and I get to talk to you because I live in a Podunk, Ohio area. Like I'm not near a big city, right? Like I said, I had to drive
oh
2.5 hours to get to Cincinnati. I have no movie theaters anymore. They all closed because of COVID.
Jesus Christ.
So that's
Okay.
why when I was in Cincinnati, I went to go see Dune with mom. Not a mom, sorry,
Mm,
grandma. The
grandma.
weekend before,
Yeah.
my mom and I drove up to Columbus to go see Free Guy,
Oh my God.
which that was an hour. So
Ryan
like,
Reynolds.
it's amazing that that I've been able to connect with people like like you two, Sammy as well. It was really good having him on, and I've got to talk to Eric's here and there a couple times when he's not busy blowing his brains out doing everything all the time. Like that guy's, I don't know how that guy lives. He's so busy. With Wolfie Mellon who does our theme song. Like I have
Hey.
met so many awesome people in the Monster Hunter community through just this platform that I have here. I'm not like the biggest, like I said, like we average 100 listeners, and that's not huge. I understand that, and that doesn't bother me. It's just like I love that we have a mostly positive experience, but I've had my negative experiences too. I've had to kick someone off of the server who wasn't a bot. I've had to kick one person off.
Mm.
And as a result, it kind of soured opinions with another person who was sort of tied to them, but they have since left. Until recently, I had Morg on the show, and Morg was an amazing, awesome person, and still is. But he's just gone.
My G.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just gone. He pieced out of Twitter. He pieced out of seemingly the Monster Hunter community at this time. because he needed to take
What-
a mental break.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
Can I
what
ask a-
happened.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question, or it's kind of
Sure.
like a statement more than a question? Why Varian has said that he wants to branch out.
Mhm.
I think that's fine if anybody has been in Monster Hunter for a long time. Like, go see other avenues of life. Go see different type of game communities that make you happy at the end of the day. Other than feeling like you're obligated to a community. Like, no, go have fun with it. In terms of anybody, like in terms of like Morg Daddy, like the best of luck to you. Everything that you want to do in life, and just embrace it.
Yeah, and I will stress I still love Morg very much. He just sort of left to do his own thing. He's got his own Discord community now. I'm not really participating in it too much, but it's out there. I'm sure you can find. I'm sure you can find some people to get a hold of Morg.
Still go to him for builds. I'm like, buddy, I need a heavy bowgun build. I just go to him every time.
Yeah, he's still good for that kind of stuff, but he had to take that step back, and that's fine. And that brought on Sasha, and it's been nice having Sasha on. I don't know if you two have met her yet, but she's way out of different. She's the first non-Monster Hunter fan we've had on the podcast as a co-host. So all of the time we talk about Monster Hunter, it's just like new stuff to her. She's like more of an Xbox person who's Mass Effect and that kind of stuff. And it's always nice to see like different facets of the gaming community. And Dwight Varian, I told you I was going to talk a little bit about this when we branched out. That kind of reminds me. I don't know if you guys followed Total Biscuit. The late John Bain. He made a very good point how he used to be a WoW only content creator. He used to only do World of Warcraft, him and Jesse Cox. And he said something that kind of resonated with me when I decided to make my split and to start to do more general gaming content, is that you can't survive on one game because it's a high risk, high reward. Sure, you'll get tons of people who know you for that game. But in the end, if there's nothing happening with that game or you're not enjoying it, then you're in a bad spot. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's what's happening with me with Rise, because Rise is already dead. Well, not dead
It's
as
not
in no
dead.
one's playing it, but
it's waiting for
content
Sunbreak.
wise,
Yeah.
well, it's like, the fuck am I gonna make on this game? Like, I mean, I can be creative, which
Right.
I do, but it's like that only goes so far.
Yeah.
So-
You're just not feeling it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Rise, but
I do
you know,
too.
one, I don't even. I'm tired of the Switch, man. Like,
Dude, mine almost never comes out of that dock. I use it as like a straight up console. That is the way I use it.
I'm tired of this sub 30 FPS bullshit. Like, give me my PC Rise. The Switch is okay because SMT5 is coming out next week, so it's still good. All right, like I still like the Switch, but for Monster Hunter, I don't know, man.
No.
You
I don't
know, that's how I feel about. So I'm a big Diablo fan, right? I love Diablo. Monster Hunter is my number one series. Diablo is my number two. Doom's my number three. I know it's all over the place, but that's just how I am. And Diablo is a PC game to me. It works well on the Switch. It works well on the PlayStation. Both 3 and Diablo 2 Remastered work very well on other systems. It is still a PC game to me. There is nothing I feel comfortable playing it that way. I feel the same way about Doom. Doom is very much a PC game for me, even though I platinumed it on PS4, the Doom 2016. So like it's not like they don't have a place on those other systems, but you can play something, like there's like a preferred platform. And Monster Hunter to me has always been a console experience because I played it on a PS2 when I first played. Right? It was an online sit down, headphones up, online with your buddies experience. And there was a dark time for me where I had no buddies to play with from like
That's very true.
Freedom till World. Nothing. Like
Wow. Okay, that's a long time.
and I was a solo hunter.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way no more. Okay,
Mhm.
I played World on PS4. It was fine because I had a PS4 Pro, and World was good enough. Then got a PC.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And at first I was like, oh, it's not that different, because my GPU sucked ass. So I was like, it's not that much different than PS4. Then I got a new GPU.
Oh, it's different.
1440p, 120 frames,
Yep.
mods. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, no,
No,
I can't.
I'm 100% with
see-
you on that. That's how you want to play it.
But the problem with the community, or with some of it, is that if you express that you like to play on PC, right? There's gonna be people coming for you. But you're saying that people can't afford PC. Like, why you gotta rub it in our face? And I'm like,
I see PlayStation hunters.
but I'm not rubbing it in your face. I'm saying that for me, I like it on PC
Yeah.
because I want better performance. So no one's asking you to buy a goddamn thing. So fuck off. You know? Like,
Yes.
like
yeah.
I remember when I made a poll on YouTube, and I was like, it was just a serious question. What platform will you get Sunbreak on? And I had PC, Switch. Oh yeah, it's only 2 platforms.
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah.
PC and Switch, right?
Yeah.
So Switch got more votes. So I shared it on Twitter and I said, damn, this post makes me sad. And oh my god, it blew up. Everyone was like, so you're telling me that you're sad because people can't buy a PC? Is that what you're saying? Like, are
I
you
remember
core
that
shaming
post.
people? And
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, when did I say that? I said I'm sad. When the fuck did I say, bro, I'm poor? Okay, you know how I got my PC? The stimulus checks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and unemployment. So
Testify.
Mm-hmm.
Testify. Do you had to do,
So
Nothing wrong with that.
It's not really the Monster Hunter community I'm tired of. I'm tired of Twitter. That's what I am. I'm tired of these motherfuckers on Twitter. And like half of these people if you talk to them in person, it won't be the same because people in person are not like that.
No.
They're not.
No, they hide behind
not
that.
like that.
They hide behind the anonymity of Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I argue with people on Twitter because it's entertaining. I'm pretty sure both of you laughed at some shit I said on Twitter.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's
all the
fun.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny, but it's like sometimes I need a break or I'm a kill myself or some shit.
Wait, can I just toss something in though?
Whoa.
What?
This is just coming from somebody where, like, I know it sounds really weird, it's gonna sound gushy. I looked up to you, and I still do because, you are part of the community. You are a pinnacle stone to this community. So regardless of, like, whatever you do on the media, like you said earlier the other day on your on one of your videos, you're gonna get backlash. You could be like the happy Andy ever, people still gonna hate you. You could be negative Andy, people still gonna hate you. It just is what it is. At the end of the day, like, you're a content creator, you're gonna get it, but your health does matter. Like, that is paramount. Like, if
Yeah.
you feel like, yo, I just need to get away from Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFriends,
yeah.
whatever. Get away from those things and, like, just recover, get your zen back, and then do you. Like, because you always pop off when you take your sabbaticals and you bring out banger content. Like, I've been watching you for, like, I think about, like, the past 5 or 4 years, and every time you take your little increments of breaks, like, the next masterpiece comes out. Like, you're almost on the whole M. Night Shyamalan level of content creator, where sometimes it's great, sometimes it's dog water, but then you get, like, that nice little slice of life that just, it's the cream of the crop that you keep watching over and over again. Just what you do is best for you.
Well, the thing about that is, I'm just outspoken. That's all. Like, there's just a lot
fair.
of people in the community that just don't fucking say shit. Like,
Yeah.
most people, the Monster Hunter community, like, I don't know if this is like for everyone, but I feel like a lot of content creators in this community is very clicky. So it's not like
Sure. Yeah, I could see
it's
that.
not like I can make a YouTube video and then be like, and then shout out Super Rad because I don't know him enough. Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because Super Rad might have his own clique, and it's nothing against Rad because I talk to him sometimes, but you can tell who hangs with who in the community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And
they
you
sort
can
of mirror
also-
their sense of humor and personality a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like you can also tell who talks shit about who in the community as well. Like I know it. Like I can't say some of this shit on the pod.
That's fine.
But
That's fine.
but-
I wouldn't ask you to do that. Yeah.
but I will say that there's been many times where I predicted how a person was and they've shown me how they were. And I was fucking correct, right? What I want from this community is for everyone to just we're all trying to Monster Hunter is about community, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why be split up like with this whole content creating shit? Like
Oh yeah.
at the end of the day, none of us fucking work for Capcom anyway.
No.
Like,
We're all just giving them
That would be
money.
nice.
Just
Like-
shoving money down Capcom's throat and then yelling at each other about it.
exactly. Because it's like, how the fuck? I watch the PSO2 community, and yes, they're smaller, but everyone knows each other, and it's tight knit, and
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. Monster Hunter is like because Monster Hunter is so complicated, or it was complicated. I feel like that lends itself well to people who are just very closed off, and I don't know.
There's so many different aspects because of the way Monster Hunter was and its history that we get all this kind of stuff. You start to get everything from like what we'd like to see is open arms, hey, we're all a community, to closed off elitism. Like to straight up like hardcore like this is the best, this is kind of thing. And we've shouted out a couple times not really enjoying a lot of what speedrunners kind of say. And I will say that is a vocal minority of speedrunners, first of all, that have been not so great to people in particular. And then people talking on people's behalf that shouldn't be talking on people's behalf anyways, fans and that kind of stuff. And toxicity in the monster community has always existed. It has always been there. That is not new. But you think about who do you think is like the earliest like quote unquote Monster Hunter celebrity, right? Who would you think that it would be?
Kantar X.
Yeah, I would say he's
Kantar X for sure. Yeah, he's like paramount with all the AMVs, the GMVs, the breakdown tutorials. There was also the Headlock crew. They weren't like known on YouTube or social media platforms, but they were the ones that basically broke down where were the critical points to like do damage for like Monster Hunter Freedom Unite and to like try until what are their names now? Darkside. They were called something else, but I think they're called Darkside now.
Team
right?
Darkside. Yeah,
You're talking about Team Darkside?
Mhm. Yeah, they were called something little different, but they're a big pinnacle part too when it comes to YouTube content creation for the community.
yeah. So when you get a lot of different aspects, but that answer could be different for someone else, right? That answer,
Right. Yeah.
and that was kind of my point. Cantor X is a big person in the Monster Hunter community for sure, but we have people who started with like let's say Try, right, and they're probably going to say people like Gaijin Hunter or Eric's, right, who really Try and 4 Ultimate is really where they hit their sort of popularity strides, and then that's like where they're at. And like I haven't got to talk to Gaijin Hunter personally, but I have got to talk to Eric's a couple times. He was on our 100th episode celebration. Eric's was the first like big guest I've had on. I've had like a lot of guests over the years, and I consider anyone who just isn't part of my regular, show a guest. It doesn't matter how, how big or small you guys, anyone is. I've had people like I saw someone's opinion I liked on Twitter who had like 3 followers. I'm like, hey, you want to come talk on the podcast? Like, I want to talk about
their opinion matters. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always been my stance, is that everyone's opinion matters, because we're all part of the community, big or small, whether, and big or small, whether you rate it like, followers or influence or whatever you want to do. I think there's a lot of like creator worship that's going on. It's like, like, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And granted, that's going to sound a little off coming from me, who's a smaller creator, but like whatever, like I don't really, it's whatever. Like I don't like, I was happy to have Eric's come on when he responded to my email. That's how I had to get, I went through his like business email to get to him, back in the day. And, but like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's my hero kind of thing. I was like, I'd love to just talk to you. I want to talk to you. And then there's people that, I've got to talk through over the years because of this podcast that have been amazing. And some of them, I just are those people I just pulled off of the Twitterverse. Just like, hey, you who had an opinion, let's talk. Morg, just to talk about Morg a little bit. He was a decent content creator for quite a time. And, towards the end of him being on, my show, he sort of backed off on that. He quit. He shut down his YouTube channel, and then he just sort of slowly backed away from everything. But like before all of that, I had met like Morg on like a chat board or something. And I was like, hey, this is cool. And we had him on as a guest. Now I will say, it is a bit of a hit to sort of like, to some viewership, at least I experienced, when you do branch out. And I branched out Wyverian for personal reasons as well. I went through a divorce at the time, and I've talked about this a couple times where I did okay. There's an episode I had when G-Rank Curry Pecco hit 999, and he was on the Carve. I'm also, I've gotten in contact with the Carve. Carve is a way bigger podcast than us for Monster Hunter, although we're longer running than the Carve. We started almost the same time, but I beat him by like a couple weeks. It was actually kind of funny. But I went through a divorce, and I had to take like a 4-month hiatus. And what brought me out of that hiatus was Iceborne's announcement. That was announced during my hiatus. And we did 1 episode during those 4 months, and then I got back into it. But when I came back, I was like, look, I mentally can't survive on just Monster Hunter. I want to talk about other things. I have interest in other things. Like I'm not just a Monster Hunter gamer. I would consider myself a variety gamer. Like I said, in the beginning, I have 3 favorite series, Monster Hunter being one, Doom and Diablo. And those are games from entirely different genres. Like entirely different platforms. Although it did make Switch my favorite system for a little while because it had all 3 series on it.
True. Yeah, that's true.
And I would say if I were to choose a console, it'd be, like in the console wars, I'd say Nintendo. Like, and I've not named any Nintendo franchise in my favorites. I just, you got to talk about what you want to talk about at that point. You can't just be like, okay, well, here we are, and we're going to go over this set. I don't really use it, but, it seems to be really good because this, and this. And when you're thinking in the back of your head, man, I really just want to talk about Final Fantasy. Like, there's some shit going on in Final Fantasy that I want to talk about. Now, I'm just saying that as having heard the PVC podcast a couple times, you guys were on a Final Fantasy kick for a long time. I don't know if you still are because I haven't got to catch up with the past couple episodes, but you guys were into it for a while, and I was down. I don't play Final Fantasy, but it's nice to hear what people are excited about, right? Like, yeah, and for me, it's a card game right now, so I haven't been doing a lot of video game stuff at all. It's flesh and blood. I mean, I've been doing that. I've been trying to build a community around that and that kind of stuff. No, I'm sorry, chat. FF7 all day. I have lost all love for FF7. It died. It died.
I just want to touch like FF7's having their little phone BR come out soon. Final Fantasy VII First Soldier.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there because somebody mentioned it.
I just want to say the context is being a Native American and then not being able to play the Native American stand-in Nanaki in the Final Fantasy VII Remake hurt me on a deep level. My representation was a side character at this point, although he's cool. They did make Nanaki cool, and you don't know his name's Nanaki yet.
Can we like just backpedal just a little
Sure.
bit?
Yeah.
Because it's like still in my head what Wyverian had said regarding. Do you remember what you guys mentioned earlier about when it came to like the community and having like people work together?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember like? You want to paraphrase that again? Because I'm like it was almost out my head.
You mean like other creators joining like cliques, like high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That issue that he was talking about. Well, I guess no. But anyway, regarding that, I do understand where it does seem that way, especially where everybody pretty much does their own thing, and like how you mentioned, where you associate just in an orbit, like you know somebody to a certain level on the surface, but you don't know enough to like really like shout them out. I do agree with that context where it feels kind of awkward where you want to talk about a certain content creator, but it's like at the end of the day, you really don't know them that well. Because one thing that usually I would speak about when it comes to content creators, at least on Twitch, I can't speak about on YouTube. I always feel like we have a bridge of people where they're entertainers and then they're gamers, where people are just sitting there, and I call them like, straight up mouth breathing hunters, where they're just hunting for like 2-3 hours at a time and don't really interact, but their content speaks value. Then you have people where they literally just out here bringing their own energy and the gameplay. And then it's sometimes when you want to network with those people, like, which niche do I fall in line with where I feel comfortable hunting with somebody who is just primarily really good at the game, or do I want to have a casual hunting session with somebody who's their skill is okay, but their personality attracts more to me as value.
What if you're like me and you're just not good or you don't have a personality?
Then we meet you on your podcast.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
That's it. We meet you here.
No.
We'll leave the hunt with you because you're gonna get us killed.
No.
I'm kidding.
I'm joking. I solo hunted all of 3 Ultimate. Okay. All right. I'm not bad.
Yeah.
but I am no speedrunner either. I cannot, I cannot do those things.
Don't get me wrong. I don't mean like in terms of like. I think you guys can pretty much know what I mean. Like, I'm not saying somebody's subjectively bad, but you do know on this platform there are people where you watch for their entertainment value, their personality, and then you watch some people where like their skill is on. Yeah, they're just on in the background, but then the chat is like to them own devices compared to everybody cohesively interacting with the content creator.
So you want to hear something funny? I watch a Cantor X from time to time. It's good because I would put him in one of those skill slots, right? Like you watch him because you're like, oh yeah, how can I do this better, kind of thing. So having trouble with Alatreon during Iceborne, and brother Ace and I were all 3 trying to work it out with Morg a couple times and some other people. We were just trying to beat Alatreon. And of course, for the whole community in Iceborne, Alatreon was quite a big deal and quite a tough monster. And watching a Cantor X solo it, I learned that there was a Savage Axe mode on the Charge Blade, which was my main weapon for all of Iceborne. And I was like, wait a second, what is he doing? What is that? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh. Yeah, I probably should have learned about this by now, having already be like HR 300 or something like that, having only played Charge Blade. Like, I'm
surprised you didn't know about Savage Axe.
I did.
It was a big
once
thing for a while.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I sit in this weird thing where I don't care about the meta. One of my mottos is "fuck the meta."
Oh well, it's not it's more of a playstyle thing. It's
No,
not.
yeah, I understand that, but because of that mentality, I don't really tend to care about when people are talking about, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. I like to find my own way, almost exclusively
Right.
so. So like, I'll watch content creators and stuff, and I'll be like, hey, cool, that's a cool thing that you did, and I don't in any way try to copy it or do it. See, this is also why I did not do very well at this Flesh and Blood thing, because card games are the same way. It's like, the meta says you do this, and I did not go with the meta, and I lost very well. But I won my first game.
I think branching out to that level is fine, especially in Monster Hunter. But like, I remember when I was afraid to even use a charge blade because I just felt stupid and have anxiety with it because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Then I went to X Mighty Peanut and he's like, bro, you gotta get these freaking guard points up. You gotta do it. And I'm like, I don't know what a guard point is. I'm just blocking and rolling. I don't even
man.
know. Like, I'm just a sword and shield.
I-
So that he took the time to like show me live. When he went live, he would show me the breakdown, and I felt like, okay, I can emulate that, and then into my own play style because I like to do the whole. It's like you can
Yeah.
press like the evade, roll into an attack, and that makes you do the spin so you can get into a guard point. And I was like, I could do that into a Savage Axe attack, and then I just started incorporating different things that I've seen from other players, and I think that's healthy. I think that's fine.
No, you're right, and it is to my detriment that I didn't learn about Savage Axe mode until Alatreon, right? Like that's sort of the drawback of doing it the way that I do sometimes. It's like, oh, this very basic thing that people knew about forever. Yeah, okay, now I'll start, and I used it from time to time. But yeah, guard points. That's something I learned from Eric's a long time ago. He did a video in it in 4 Ultimate. I was like, oh, I'm down. I'm down to learn that. I'll do that. And then I played Charge Blade, but I hated going to the full Super AED in 4 Ultimate that people did. So
Yeah.
I played it how everyone hated to play it in Generations. Remember in Generations, everyone's like, oh, it won't let you go to Super AED and only do the one attack when you guard point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's how I purposely played in 4 Ultimate, because I was like, no, I like to just preserve vials. I don't want to blow them all on the monster. And they're like,
Wait, isn't that better now though? Like, I'm not to get too
No.
into context of that, but
it is now, but at the time it was just like Super AD was like really broken. And this is 4. We're talking 4 Ultimate, right? And we're not talking now in Rise where the memes are that Charge Blade is dead. But
wait, I did not know that. All right, learning something new tonight.
so like it was like they really nerfed SAED in Rise, and so much so, especially in the beginning, that people were just like, don't even play it. It's crap, which I don't agree with that. If you like Charge Blade, play it. But
Oh, it's not complete crap, but it just doesn't feel like it did in Iceborne, or World for that matter. Because it's like, one, I don't know what. I know the teams are merged now, so it's not like portable and main team anymore. But
yeah, it's just
I
Monster
feel
Hunter team.
like-
yeah.
I feel like the portable team always made Charge Blade like ass. Like even
Yeah.
in like GU, I mean, you could say it's good with certain styles, but aiming it is so ridiculous in those games.
Yeah, it is.
The risk reward is just not worth it. Like, especially when you're fighting certain monsters like Amatsu, and you just somehow just whiff like half of your files at her.
Oh
It's like,
no.
well, I'm gonna die to this whirlpool.
I-
Goodbye.
Yeah.
When it comes to hunter arts and styles, I'm 100% adept greatsword in Generations Ultimate. I fell in love with
okay.
that. Like I just love it. It's got so many good, just like clippable plays. If you ever seen one of my clips on Twitter for gameplay, it's probably from Generations Ultimate. Like, but they're way back there. You'd have to go way back through my history to see them.
But it's still in my head though, like with all this being said about the fact that we basically adapt by learning either like subconsciously alone or like emulating other people. This is a question for both of you. How do you? I guess we kind of jumping the gun maybe, but I don't know. Like how can we cohesively like try to have something where separating just from like content creation alone really get that brotherly love back into the Monster Hunter community, because like I think for the most part that's an arduous journey. That's almost like going on like a crusade to bring all the islands together, like all the Fire Nation, Water Nation, Earth Nation all together. But it's possible. But at the very least, what can we possibly do to get that mindset rolling? That's what I'm curious about. I know it's a big question to ask. I'm
Nothing.
sorry. Nothing.
Nothing.
There's literally nothing you can do because that's just how the community is. It's not gonna change. Like, I don't see a change happening.
But you said yourself you would like that to happen. Like you just don't want to even give it a good college try, a good go. Or did I misinterpret you?
What the hell am I gonna do about it? Like, I'm not even on Eric's level. I can't do shit. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just the most I can do is be friendly with everyone. That's what I try to do. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not on the same energy as what Ivarian is with this. Like where I don't feel like there's nothing we can do, but I will say that it is like a monumentous task. It's like climbing Everest, and we're at sea level, right? Like we've not hit base camp 1 on this journey.
Well, I more Monster Hunter Festas in the West could actually
Yeah.
help that, because the festa I went to last year, was it the year before? I fucking
Had
forgot.
to be because you know.
But-
COVID.
Yeah, COVID, yeah.
The year before, I met a lot of people there, and then a lot of people that I met, I still talk to now in the community. And if I didn't go, I probably wouldn't have gotten to know them. So, I think
Yeah.
I think that could help.
Meeting people
Okay.
in person is huge, right? You get to connect on a level that you don't like. Even us talking here, like, seeing each other on camera, talking, like, yeah. I the couple times I've had you guys on, I felt like, hey, we're cool, right? Like, like. We'll chat to each other every once in a while, and it's like, hey, good work on your video sometimes to the Wyverian and Preacher. I'll talk on your Twitter stuff, all the time. Sorry, I don't watch a lot of Twitch, so.
It's fine.
But like, well, because I have such a weird schedule. But
Super Dad.
sure, I try. Actually, part of the reason why today was so weird trying to get a hold of you guys, today was my girls' birthday parties. Their birthdays were Wednesday
Oh.
and Thursday. So like Ace saying like, hey, I can't make it tonight, like 2.5 hours before the show. I was just like, I've been dealing with birthday
happy
parties.
Birthday to your babies, man. Like,
Thanks.
bro, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then it got dropped on me by the girls, not their mom, that their mom didn't take them trick-or-treating, so they haven't been trick-or-treating yet. And then it's already happened in my local communities. Like, it's already done. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Thankfully,
And have trick or treating. Have them go to each little room. I don't know.
thankfully, I talked to
Think of a marshmallow
someone,
here.
and there is a trick or treat in a town like 45 minutes away that starts at 3:00
Okay.
tomorrow. So I'm going to do that for them because like they didn't get to go trick or treating. So I'm like, holy cow, that's a problem. So I'm gonna be doing that. But yeah, I'm like, I don't get to watch everybody and everything, but you meeting people in person is so much more of a connection. Where, I talked about I was in Cincinnati, right? I met so many really cool people there. Like I talked about, Hometown TCG is the YouTuber that I met. He's got a decent following, more than me, obviously. And it was kind of cool to sort of like sit there, connect with him, get to talk to him and stuff. I connected with so many different people, like even one of the vendors just behind the counter. We talked about like, I was there staying with my grandmother, like, cause she lives in Cincinnati, so it's easy to stay with her for the event. So, it was so cool just sort of connect with those people that like if I do go to event for this again, I will be looking for those people. And I did try to connect with them, like, hey, try to talk to them afterwards, but I got put out early enough. I didn't see anyone else when I was done, so I just sort of talked to a few vendors and went home.
Oh,
But it's okay.
consolation prize.
Well, actually, no, I still had a lot of fun. It was such a cool experience. And then I met like a Cincinnati city councilman on the way out. I recognized him from like the news, like the local news there. And he had a face mask on. It was the Cincinnati skyline. And I was like, oh, hey, cool face mask. And he started talking to me about the tournament. And he's like, oh, how do you like the tournament? So I was like, oh, he must know what's going on here. Because this guy was totally not there. It was weird. It was at a convention center, obviously. And in the convention center was large enough that there was like a black tie ballroom gala next door to this, like a bunch of sweaty people playing like trading card game. It was so funny to see like people in like jean
Night
shorts
and
and
day.
like rock t-shirts like me. And then straight up like to the teeth like ballroom dresses and tuxedos, black tie affair. Speaking of which, shirts like this, pickle gel.
That's awesome. I like that.
Hey.
Swag.
Yeah, I love getting nerdy t-shirts. So, oh yeah, if you're interested, it's at TeePublic. I think there is an artist attached to that, so they actually pay the artists.
TeePublic. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like shilling for all sorts of people today. It's just how it's gonna be. But yeah, so like, you know, like we talk about like the Monster Hunter community being toxic and stuff, and I think some of it is just Twitter, right? Like you're saying, Wyverian, but that does matter. That because we do as content creators still need to run that rat race if we want to get more people watching. And it's obvious I don't run that rat race as much because I don't have as many people. I don't do a lot of that legwork because I do have a busy life. But like, it doesn't bother me that I don't like have a lot of like listeners and followers. I'd like to get more. That'd be cool. But like, I don't want to kill myself doing it. And it's obvious that it hurts people doing that at that level.
You know what's funny though?
No.
I want I crave more followers. I want more. I want the numbers need to be higher.
I don't disagree. I do look at it like if I lose a Twitter follower, I was like, where'd they go? Who was that?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah. I had to mentally train myself to not care about losing followers because
it's
that's
going to
just gonna
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
yeah. But the way I operate on Twitter, part of it is just me being myself, and the other part is me being analytical.
Yes.
So if I see something that I know is gonna garner a lot of attention, then I'm gonna tweet it.
yes.
You know, or I'm gonna. Sometimes people think I start shit on Twitter to start shit. Sometimes.
You do.
I mean,
What's causing the
yeah.
most shit? Let me do it.
Yeah, sometimes like if I see something, I'm like, oh, that's gonna piss some people off. I'll post it, like because
why not?
engagement,
Yeah.
like engagement. So, but I don't know. And then sometimes I'll randomly be like, oh, let me post this old Mouse Hunter video to spark some interest, and you know, that's how that goes. So
But we all do have to play the game to some degree. Like you have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. The reason why I got so close to Capcom is because of how I use Twitter. Because they wouldn't, I don't really think they'd get this close to me from just my YouTube stuff because I'm still pretty small, you know? So, yeah. My way, I just kind of brute force myself into the community. You kind of just you want everyone to know who you are, right? And that's kind of what I did. Like,
This is me.
I don't know,
Yeah.
because more than a year ago, I just did like Facebook stuff and a little bit of Tumblr shit a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I got my Facebook to like 14K, and then Facebook just fucking sucks. So I left. Because if you don't pay them money to boost your post, then no one's gonna see your shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I left that. Then I came to Twitter and said, let's try this out. And then when I made it to 1,000 followers,
Mm-hmm.
my Twitter got hacked.
Yeah,
And
you got purged.
I was depressed for a little bit. I tried to get the account back, didn't get it back. Twitter's fucking useless because I'm a small creator. And then I said, fuck it, I'll start all over. And now I'm like way past where I was before. The mental health is fucking dying from doing this. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I need to take breaks. Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah. I get it. Like, when I'm dealing with, personal stuff, which happens from time to time, you won't see a
Yeah.
peep from me on Twitter. You won't see that at all. Whatever. And here's the funny thing. I have more of a Reddit following than I do a Twitter following. Like, if you go to my Reddit page, same name, Fortuan, you'll see like I have it like it's your page follows. I'm at like 483. Like I'm like, and that's for an entirely different thing that I do. That has nothing to do with
you
Hunter's
said
Hub.
you're a moderator for something, right?
I used to be a moderator on r/Monster Hunter. I used to be, if you were there from the time of Try to the beginning of World, I was the one person moderating all of that.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
I think
There was other moderators, but they
Volunteer.
weren't able to do a lot because of their busy lives. I mean, heck, the guy who started it was studying to be a lawyer and testing for his bar at the time. Like, oh, there we go. Anyways, I got a notification that someone followed it. It might be a
Me.
preacher, yeah. But like on Reddit, I'm actually known for my D&D stuff. Which is how I
see
know
that.
Pan. I do monster ecologies, like fictional ones, and I do cross over that with Monster Hunter sometimes. In fact, my latest one where I talked about fantastical spiders, I talked about the Rachna Kadaki and the Nerscylla. Just like a little blurb. If you're familiar with Monster Hunter, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you have like, oh, this is just a cool spider that covers itself with webs and it's fireproof. Cool. And throws its babies at people. Like, so it's kind of weird for me because I actually have two separate communities that I manage, and I've tried to merge them before. Like, I've tried to do that sort of crossover. Like, hey, I also do a video game podcast that's, born in the Monster Hunter community on called Hunter's Hub, and people are like, yeah, but like, do you do this ecology stuff? Like I don't get it. And I'm like, no, I just talk about video games. Like I like other things too. Like, so it's been kind of weird for me where I have like actually in Reddit I actually have a bigger following, and it had nothing to do with Monster Hunter. This podcast spawned from me trying to do what r/Nintendo did, which r/Nintendo has a podcast. So I created the r/Monster Hunter podcast. Then instead of endorsing that podcast, they sort of buried it. And then I was like, fuck you guys. I'll make it my own.
Okay.
I pulled a bender. Fine, I'll make my own podcast with blackjacks and hookers. And then I went and made my own podcast. And here we are, the Hunter's Hub, except there's no blackjack and hookers at all because I couldn't do that. But, like, it's just where we're at. And I thought I was going to get like sort of like, some sort of support. And I did somewhat for coming from the Reddit community, but I have since left the Reddit community when I stepped down in 2018, partially because of the divorce stuff I was going to. And the other part was, I don't know, active, what do you call it? Cyberbullying by some fellow mods there. So
Oh shit.
I was out and I was done. I didn't want to deal with that. And I stepped down, and then people were like, "Oh, he's stepping down because they won't promote his podcast." Yeah, and I was like, "It has nothing to do with the podcast anymore at all. This has gone way beyond." And I'm not going to pull out people's names. I don't think that's fair. But there are people in the Monster Hunter community that did that to me because they didn't agree with my opinions. So,
Sheesh.
That's a big thing though, because
yeah,
that's an internet thing. You can be as clear and concise as you can with your opinion, but if they don't agree with it, they're gonna shit on you somehow.
yeah,
Or it's like people hear what they want to hear, right?
Yeah.
Because usually if I'm making an opinion piece video, I'll literally start out the video by being like objective, and I'll be like, oh, that's like when I talk about Demo Magnamalo, right? I said,
rough.
I think Magnamalo is a fun fight, but I hate how overtuned he is in the demo.
oh,
And
jeez,
people like skipped the first part and
I
only
remember
heard
that,
me
yeah.
say that I hate Demo Magnamalo, and everyone just came at me like, he's supposed to be hard, right? And I'm like, that's what I said. I literally said that. Just
dude.
because
Like
you
the
know
first
why.
6 minutes, too.
Did
It's
you
like-
guys ever end up beating Demo Magnamalo?
I didn't care about that. I even did the
One-
demo.
Yeah,
I'm
I did
with you.
once, but
One time I did as well. I will say I put a lot more energy into that than I should have. I tried, I kid you not, 8 hours doing it solo. 8 hours
No way.
I tried to do it. I did it so much I got a headache and I went to bed. I was just like, I am stressing out way too much about this. I'm done. I don't care. I'm not going to beat it. I don't need to prove my worth as a hunter to get this done. And then I still kept doing it. And then I did beat it. We beat it as a 4-man. And so I did beat it once, but I was just like, that was tough. That was way overtuned. That did not need to be that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's honestly, I never liked the way Capcom does their demos for Mouse Hunter. I think it's like, I hate it. I'm not a fan of it. And just saying that gets people pissed off. You talking
Yeah.
about my precious Monster Hunter? Oh my god! You said the
Ah.
demo sucks?
Oh yeah,
Nah,
I
you
hate
just
that.
suck.
Yeah.
Nah,
Burn him for his sins.
you just suck, bro. You don't know how to play Monster Hunter. Like, man.
I very much did not like the direction that Iceborne took. Iceborne to me, as much as
See?
I love,
You're saying that right now? As soon as I heard you say I did not like,
Yeah.
and then followed by Iceborne, I would have lost my fucking mind. That's how people are on Twitter.
Yes, they
Like-
are. And
Uh-huh.
well, here's the thing: Iceborne's having a resurgence because people aren't enjoying what Rise is doing, and that's fine, right? There doesn't have to be a camp on who likes Iceborne more than Rise or Rise more than Iceborne. Just play the game you want to play, for Pete's sake. But personally, my biggest thing in Monster Hunter is the monsters. Second of all, is breaking the parts on the monsters. You know what sucks in Iceborne? Breaking monster parts unless you do the stupid mounting mechanic. And I hated it. I hated it, and that's why I loved like Elatrion, because you didn't have to worry about that as much. It helped, but it wasn't necessary. And then Fatalis was just an amazing fight. Like Fatalis was a great finisher in my opinion. But screw Eschaton Judgment. I don't think that needs to be in any monster ever. Like a one-hit KO.
Oh,
Damn, yeah.
The one thing I will say about that, I think Elatrion was the perfect. I think it was Elatrion and Fatalis was the perfect fight to bridge the gap between the really casual players and the hardcore players, because the hardcore players wanted something that was really hard,
It was.
or at least moderately challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen casual players struggle with Elatrion and Fatalis. Like, I've seen, I don't want to give names, but I will say that I've seen them play with people and they just couldn't do it. and I'm in the background watching like, damn, this sucks because they can't fucking beat this monster. And I think it's like hindering their experience with the end game of this game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's perfect because
Yeah.
Now, as far as difficulty, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I just don't think
but-
I just don't like the Eschaton. Is the it?
Eschaton Judgment,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, it's a love-hate relationship because when
Yeah.
I want to solo it, you really have to practice.
Oh
And
yeah.
you need like so much element, like yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah.
To solo it, it's a really annoying. When otherwise, like, because soloing Elatrion, I know his moveset, but if I can't do enough DPS or elemental DPS, I'm just gonna fucking die.
Right.
So it's annoying.
Right.
I don't know
agree
if you
with
guys
that.
recently went back to it. Like they really dumbed down like solo for Fatty and Elatrion, like to the point you can pretty much get away with fighting Elatrion solo now compared to
really.
before.
Not really. You talking about the baby one, the one you fight before Fatalis? Because that's like,
No, I'm talking about the original one. At least that's. I mean, maybe I'm just saying. In my opinion, it's a lot easier than it was before.
no, I had to on my PC file. I don't have I don't have my cool weapons, so
okay,
yeah, I
yeah.
had to use the Frostfang Barryoth sword. and
Oh
shield.
man.
Okay,
Yeah,
So-
so I had to practice a lot.
now
You-
that's a different story. Okay,
You know how much I don't like Kulve weapons? I don't have any.
the butter
I
goat.
sold them all.
Jeez, well, that's money.
I just sold them all. I was just like, no, I don't like this mechanic. I'm out. Like I'm done. I'll do this the old fashioned way. I run like what is it? The Silver Rathalos. What do I play in Iceborne? Is it Charge Blade? Yeah, I play Charge Blade in Iceborne. I forgot.
Silver Rathalos
I just
Charge
talked
Blade.
about that too. Yeah, that's what I do for fire. If
I
I'm
love
going,
Butter Goat. I call her Butter Goat. I love fighting her for days, getting all her shiny weapons because I love shinies, so I
She's-
don't care.
that's the problem I always have with Iceborne. It's like they'd have an amazing monster and they'd add this really just shit mechanic to it, and I'm like, please stop. No, just make it a cool monster. Like let's have a cool Teroth armor and some cool weapons and be done. I don't need this RNG thing. I don't really. Why? Just keep that. My biggest problem, really, was there was a bottleneck of, was it the Safi Jiva? Safi Jiva, I love the monster, hate its weapons because Safi Jiva weapons are the best for raw and elemental across the board on every status and element. So at the time when Safi Jiva came out, they were the best weapons. Period. They're what, like if you were like, so if I want to do elemental hammer because I'm not really paying attention to how hammer works, what do I go with? Oh, Safi Jiva. It's got the best element for hammer. Okay. What do I want to do for a raw hammer? Oh, Safi Jiva. Okay. What do I want to do for a fire longsword? Oh, Safi Jiva. At the time, that was the answer. Like, it was it. Like, you just look at the values and you're like,
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but like, at least for me, when I try to like integrate people into the game and they try to rush to end game, I like to have people just explore. Of course, yeah, they're the last pinnacle weapons that you're gonna get. But at the end of the day, like, why not just go back and revert to your old, like, you know, Tobi Kadashi bow or something like that, or get yourself
Yeah. I mean-
Garen Lance, or just have fun with that versatility that you have at your disposal. Sure, you can go ahead and just use the mid-max weapons if you want to, but that's
Well-
your prerogative.
well, that was just me just looking at the values, being like, oh, well, the raw is just better and the elements better. Like, why would I?
That's fair. I think everybody's gonna see that like that way because that's
Yeah.
how Capcom puts that content out to be.
Well, I just didn't enjoy that, right? So I was very disenchanted with Iceborne as it kept going and going and going. And then Elatrion and Fatalis came out and everything was fixed in my brain, right? Like, finally it's all good, right? And then
I guess.
I love Rise. I like Rise a lot more than I do Iceborne because Rise did a lot of those things not like that. And then me being a newly found crown hunter as of World, right? I didn't do crown hunting before World. Rise is the worst game for crown hunting, period. I love Rise. It might be my favorite Monster Hunter. If you want to get into crown hunting, Rise is not your game. There is no way to manipulate that aside from a few. And I think you pointed that out, Preacher. There are a few.
The last broadcast, yeah.
Yeah, that there are a few quests that can get you better chances, but there's no inbuilt mechanic like the investigations in World or that kind of thing. It's just like outside of a few certain cases, it's RNG, 100% RNG. And I'm like, that's why I didn't like Kulve. It's just RNG. Like I don't need that much RNG in the game when you already have drop rates that are supposed to be RNG. Although drop rates are like nothing in Rise. Like aside from a few select items for certain people who tend to not get things, but
is there a expedition in Rise? I don't even remember.
No, there's no expeditions in Rise.
Okay.
There's the go out and hunt in the wilderness. Those are okay. But they're not. There's no way to modify them per se.
I just kept doing like the gathering hub quests. I didn't even know there was other things like that to do.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's just like you have an opinion, and then people want to attack it, and then they do, and then I don't agree because what gets me the most, and now you see this in a lot of things, not just Monster Hunter, is people just spout off things because they've heard them and not because they've experienced them themselves. Like, oh, well, you should do this because this person that I follow said this. And I'm like, yeah, did you do it yourself? Like, there are some people IRL that do that really frustrate me. They're like, oh, well, I heard that's really bad. And I was like, I'm sorry, were you there? Like,
did you try it yourself? Did you dip your toe into it, perhaps?
Or they're just like, ugh. So like, one of the things that I've been dealing with me trying to get this Flesh and Blood community thing started is that it's at a local video game store. I've talked about them on the podcast a couple times. I'm good friends with one of the owners. We've been trying to get this thing up and running. And then the local card shop, which is 2 doors down, which you'd think would be running a card game, didn't care until we started they didn't even carry the cards until we started trying to get this community up and running. Then they sort of scheduled, not on purpose, but scheduled the event for that card game on top of our event for the card game and sort of threw their weight on top of it.
Kinda sus.
And how this relates is like some of the people there were like, oh, well, I heard this game store, did this like from the card shop. And I was like, I mean, I'm literally the guy who was helped setting it up at the other place. So you really want to start throwing accusations around because you weren't there. You didn't do this. Like, it was just people they like to run with something, and you see that a lot. You don't see a lot of people forming their own opinions or doing their own thing. You're just like, nope, I was told to do it this way, and this is the way I'm going to do it, kind of thing. And I hate that. I hate that so much. And that's the antithesis of me just doing everything the way I do. Right? Like don't just blindly follow someone.
Yeah, I mean, my point is, like, me being outspoken, I feel like it threatens a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, he's against the status quo. He's
a dissenter.
wow.
Get him. Yeah.
Or like when I said I thought Dave Chappelle is still funny.
Wait, when did you say that?
You didn't know I lost like 35 followers from that shit.
No, I didn't know that at all. Wow.
Yeah.
Is it like during the whole, what he's going through right now? That whole political piece.
The whole
Yes. It's like people like okay, I don't expect people to know me personally, so that's fine. But it's like just because the Dave Chappelle thing, I know so many other bigger creators. All you had to do was literally say that you like Dave Chappelle, and you will get destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that is what
Okay.
happened. It's like,
Can someone explain this to me? Because I don't understand. Is it because of his supposedly anti-trans jokes?
I don't know.
it was some of his jokes were dark, but Dave tells a story, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's his comedy.
Yeah, he tells a story, and then at the end, if you watch through the whole thing, then you would understand that he's not necessarily punching down on trans people. He's trying to say, we're all minorities, so how about we start sticking together?
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice, right? Like,
In a
he's trying to
perfect
say
world.
yeah. So it's not like, look, I get it. It's comedy though. Like race. I was about to say racist comedy. If you want to call it racist, but racial comedy or whatever, like it depends. You have to do it a certain way, right?
Sure. And
You
you
have
have
to
to
do it
be
in
an
a-
open and accepting audience as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it needs to come from a place of endearment, not a place of me literally talking down to someone's ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you want to know a culture so much that you can make jokes about stereotypes about that culture. That'll make people laugh. So trans people are not excluded from that.
Yes.
They're not. Because if you want equality, then it's fair game. That's all I'm trying to say. Is that it's fair game. And like I don't hate trans people. Like, I mean, and my brother's gay, so it's like
What? Yeah.
Just like I don't hate
That's-
trans people. I have my gay brother, so
like
That did
my
sound
bro-
like
my-
one of my friend, but my friend is from black, so that's okay.
yeah, I got
No,
black
no,
friends, so I
but
can't be
what I'm
racist,
saying-
no.
Yeah.
Right, what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
well, also like I'm also, how do I say? I'm open to dating someone who's trans. Like I don't care. Like,
Yeah. No, I get. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so let's focus up because I get where you're going with this, Mike. I really do, but I don't understand why people are jumping on him because I know for a fact that he's good friends with someone who is trans, and I know this.
that's my point. Yeah.
I know this because I know that person and I have met Dave. So like I actually have an inside knowledge of this. Like granted it's through my ex-wife, but her good friend their daughter used to be male. And I have seen this person through this transition. It surprised me the first time that Zay showed up because they used to be named Isaiah, right? And I was just like, oh, that is them. Okay, cool. Like whatever. And then we saw there was an actual documentary that she's part of, that kind of stuff. I know for a fact that Dave knows this person because that's how I met Dave, is through this family that Zay is part of. So, and I don't know Dave. I just met Dave. Like I met him at his kid's birthday party that like we went to. And like it's not like oh yeah, I know Dave Chappelle, blah blah blah. It's like, no, I've met him twice, and it's not uncommon if you live in Ohio to have met Dave Chappelle. It's just not. He's just a dude that goes around Yellow Springs. It's cool, and I used to live around Yellow Springs. So, also his kids are really good at chess. I kid you not. I played them in chess and they beat the crap out of me. And I was like, I actually had to call like for help for someone against this kid because he was just destroying me in chess. But I know for a fact he knows this person. So like when people are like, oh, like he hates trans, I'm like, no, he doesn't. I know this for a fact. It's just a joke. Like I've not even seen the latest special, but the one before that where he supposedly got in trouble. was it also, something against trans? And I was just like, that's not really.
That's why I asked the question, which one?
Yeah. I guess it came out again because of the latest one, because he talked about it. He talked about it because it's something he went through because of the last special. That's what he does. He talks about his life, and it's just sort of his comedy. So
yeah. I think
and I think you got caught up in something because they don't know the context.
yeah. I mean, I made a Twitter space and we talked about it with a couple of people,
Yeah.
and that was interesting. We had someone who was a part of the LGBTQ community, and we also had a trans girl in there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we came to a mutual agreement. Some people who I consider friends, or at least acquaintances,
Mm-hmm.
cursed me out and kind of just pieced out and didn't bother to like come to the space. But
Didn't bother
whatever.
to listen. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But I don't really like to talk about political things because I don't really like to pick sides, to be honest. Because
Fair.
I think everyone's kind of stupid, and to begin with. So it's like I'll look at things from this side, I'll look at things from this side, and be like, oh, okay, that's cool, but I'm gonna go my own way.
Yeah.
So that's why if I hear some crazy shit happens on the internet, like when I heard about Pro Jared, oh shit, he did. Oh, that's crazy. And then I looked into it. Oh shit, he actually didn't do that. Oh, like
Yeah.
it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was such a weird one. I would say the one that really hit home for me was the completionist one, where that good dude left the completionist, and then he had to go through that legal battle, and he's been has a whole series because of that legal battle where he's redoing all of his episodes. I'm like,
see?
Oh my god, that's.
And I'm like,
Ooh.
stuff
See,
like
and
it's just crazy.
It's fucked up because, like, the internet, like the mob mentality, cannot be stopped.
No.
Can't stop that shit. So someone could literally go on Twitter and say that I violated them, and before I can even prove myself, like, I'm already destroyed. Canceled.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's it.
It's true.
Like, it's real bad, and that's why it's kind of scary, because I feel like I always have to walk on eggshells, which is why I'm going to stick with gaming. I'm not going to talk about politics on my Twitter, because I don't want to get into that shit again. Because
Right.
Yeah.
that, like, I almost had like a tiny mental breakdown, but I decided to have the Twitter space, and I felt better after that. But it just like, and then people were like sending me photos of like, oh, Dave openly said he's Team Turf or something, and it's like when I watch a special, I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me entirely, because I felt like that was part of the joke, because he was talking about J.K. Rowling and her being a turf or whatever the fuck. And I just don't, it doesn't make sense to me that he would say that he supports that when one of his friends was trans and he's supporting, like, her child. Like, I don't know. Like, none of that shit makes sense to me, but I don't like to jump the gun and just, like, I don't know, accuse somebody of some shit.
Yeah, and
You know what? Stupid.
and
Fuck this.
yeah, I mean, you're right. We're talking about, like, toxicity in the Monster Hunter community, and honestly, it's just internet culture in all in its shape and form. And yeah, it's not okay, because what everyone just sort of yelling at each other and not listening, and then getting mad when you feel like you're being ignored because, well, hey, you're also ignoring what's being said to you. And, like, it's just, I get it. You want to step away sometimes, but you know, as a content creator, you have to go back at some point because then you don't grow, right? You don't reach people. You don't get those bigger numbers or whatnot. Like you don't. I'm not gonna lie. This is my record for amount of people watching my Twitch stream right now. Like we're at my record. So of concurrent viewers, and it's like cool, and it's cool thought to me that we're at that. But like, you know, like at the same time, you know, if something goes down and people like chastise us for what we're talking about and take us out of context and stuff, it's scary. I get it. Yeah, it's. And what you're saying, like being falsely accused of stuff too, that does happen, like it did with Pro Jared, and it just sucks. So I get it.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's a constant battle that we're just always having to do. Like, especially if you just want to grow, you gotta have tough skin. You gotta have tough skin.
Yeah, no doubt. And here we are just trying to have fun and talk about video games, and we get into this stuff like you never want to get pulled into politics ever because it's always just a shit show. Like I don't get me wrong, I love visiting with my grandmother to go to this card tournament, but she is so right and I am so middle that it's not even funny. She was just like, you know, like F Biden, you know, like kind of stuff. And she didn't say that because she wouldn't say that. But she'll sit there and rant to me about the president. And I'm like, I mean, aren't they all bad, Grandma? Aren't they just all terrible on each side? Like, isn't he just a politician like anyone else? And then
it's like it's very complicated because some people do have good intentions, but then some of those, I know, like Obama, for example, he got trapped because he tried to change a lot of things, and a lot of those laws he wanted to pass did not get passed by the Senate. So it's like it's complicated.
It's complicated on both ends. It just sucks to
on both ends. Yeah.
That's
why I don't really pick a side because it's like.
Yeah.
In the end, it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
yeah,
you know?
my grandma was like, "But you got to know because it matters." I'm like, I mean, it does, but what am I going to do about it? What am I allowed to do about it? Is my stance. Yeah. So, not to harp on politics, but like, I mean, that's what ends up happening is people just sort of, you get kind of like when you get in these like social things like personas, you get sort of like people are like, well, what do you think about this? And you're like, I don't know. Well, why don't you know? Because I don't think about that often. Well, why not? That's important. Sure, I guess it's important, but like now, is it important now when I was here showing you my favorite Monster Hunter build? Was that in context? Like, huh? I didn't know we were talking about that. Yeah, like, it's just weird. But yeah, I get it. You know, we
trying to jump into chat is all.
Yeah. No, they've been chatting away. I'm not used to the talking to chat and doing chat stuff. I
was gonna ask, are we gonna have any closing statements or anything like that regarding towards chat because you're doing it live?
Let's see.
I mean, I'm just saying like later on. I'm not saying now.
I don't know. I mean, I would like if they have questions, I wouldn't mind answering them, but like, they've just been kind of commenting what we've been saying as we go. That's why I'm not really. See, I'm bad at the Switch thing.
Do you have any questions, Peanut?
Yeah, Peanut. Do you?
Calling him out specifically.
He knows why. You You know, you can hear his accent in your head too when he types that. That's the funny part.
Eh.
What? Like, how does that help? Make a question, damn it.
You gotta use your Wonder Twin powers. Come on, man. Don't be former water. Let him be former water.
Now, I haven't been on a while. Peanut's with you on PVC, right?
No, but
No.
he could be. That's
He
for
could
sure.
be. Okay.
But
I'm
no,
getting him confused with your Australian co-host.
Oh, sheesh, yeah.
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 Sheesh. Okay.
He's
Yeah.
been away for a while. He needs to
Yeah,
come
Mighty
back.
Peanut. He's the leader. Monster NYC. Then he does Avatar Aang disappears type of thing. So I'm gonna leave for like 4 months and come back.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy though.
I mean, that's part of it, right? We just got to get away from, you know, the the rat wheel that is the social network that we got to do, and it
Yeah.
sucks that you got to do it. Like, the reason I have a Twitter account is for the podcast. Like, I don't. I created one a long time ago because my uncle said that's how he wanted to keep in contact. And then he didn't. So it was just a dead Twitter account, and then I started using it for this stuff. I think it's funny though. Like if I post anything on Twitter that has to do with my D&D articles, it falls flat entirely. It like there's like nothing. I can put all the hashtags I want on it. Nothing. My Twitter stuff is all about the podcast. Apparently, it's all my Twitter followers care about is like Monster Hunter and the podcast stuff.
I think that's fair. Long as it's healthy, it's not like really affecting you in a bad way, you know.
No,
Like, at least for me, if you go to my Twitter, it's just food, maybe like retweets about something I think is funny, and then my other like 3 a.m. demon hour thoughts. That's it. That's pretty much it. If you like food, you can look at that stuff for hours because that's all I retweet because I like food.
yeah, that's fair.
I try to avoid having like an area where it could bring in negativity or, you know, that type of energy. I'm like, here, this stuff that I like, this is what you're going to see. And if you come to watch me, this is what you're going to get. More things regarding me daydreaming about food for like 80% of the time.
I very much, you know, tweet about a lot of things that I like and a lot of different things. I don't get political either because I'm not necessarily a political person, but I like I'll like retweet Doom's Twitters all the time, like because they're hilarious to me. I just love their sense of humor, especially with that whole with Isabel thing. Like you guys have seen that meme of like Doom guy with Isabel. I love that. That stuff is just hilarious to me. You know, I'll do that kind of stuff, and then sometimes I'll put out whenever I do get around to posting art or that kind of stuff, I'll put it out there. But for me, Twitter is just a mixed bag of what I'm into at the moment, and I tweet about that. And I haven't done a lot of the stuff with the card game I've been into for Twitter, but like I did some while I was in Cincinnati. I was like, hey, I'm finally here. I'm ready, you know, getting ready to play, that kind of stuff. And it was like, yeah, whatever. It's just like I don't get any engagement unless I'm talking about Monster Hunter. Like, that's it. Like the one time I get engagement, it's like Monster Hunter stuff. It's like, it's fine, I guess. Right? And I have some D&D people that have followed me for that. And every once in a while, they'll be like, hey, put out a new article. Because, like, I didn't write for 7 or 8 months. I didn't write an article, and I was like putting them out every 2 weeks for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's just writer's block, right? It just happens when you're a writer.
That's fair.
And it wasn't like anything like, oh, I'm going through some personal stuff. No, when I was going through the worst of my personal stuff, I was putting out like an article a week. I was like on fire.
That creativity juices are out there. Okay.
Yeah. So like, and then the podcast stuff like waned. It's kind of weird. It's like the podcast goes up, the writing goes down. The writing comes up, the podcast goes down. Although I'm not really going down on the podcast stuff. It's just, you know, I had all three of my co-hosts doing something else today. That was kind of a surprise because, you know, I didn't want to miss 2 weeks. There's like no way. It feels like podcast suicide to miss 2 weeks in a row. But whatever.
Hey, you can always try to hit me up. I'll try to come through as a substitute.
Hey, no, both of you guys came in great today. I love that the Ace was like, hey, we want to talk to these two people because we got two people missing this week. We already knew about Sasha and Pan being out. And then Ace was like last minute, oh, I got to be out too. And I was like, thank goodness he got those two guys because I was way too busy to look for someone this week.
You would have just been monologuing. I would have been in chat typing to you.
I know. If it's just me, that week is canceled. Like if it's would not do that. I might if people were interested and I don't know, I might just sit here and play like a super easy game and talk. So like there's something going on the screen, but like it'd have to be like solitaire for my internet to handle it. Like it would have to be it'd have to be pretty bad.
We do have some questions from Raiden coming through.
Okay.
So Raiden says, do you guys plan on having your own merch in the future, or would it be something you'll be interested in? I'm assuming that's like
all of us.
I guess
probably.
Everybody. Yeah. I'll go last.
Well, for me, the only thing I could probably do is there is the official logo for Hunter's Hub that I got commissioned when I did originally go. It's just like if you're you guys are on the Discord, it's just there, just the label for the Discord. It's on Twitter and everything. Actually, really cool thing, the Twitter banner that I have was done by Afeless or Cosme Lisario, if you guys know him.
Okay.
He also did my playmat that I use in card games, so I got his permission.
I was looking at like playmat. Like, what is he? Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I remember those from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. So like, I would probably do the logo, and then if you guys can see it, it's hard to see on Discord, but that little symbol that is me, that is the amalgamation of a Diablos mixed with a Cyber Demon from Doom with Diablo's Soulstone stuck in the middle of it, is my own little art. I might do that. Might try to do that better. But maybe do some of my art as merch, but that would be it. Like I don't really have a huge enough following that we don't have like memes and stuff like that, like for me to do, or like, jokes.
Well, do you do the commissions? Like, are you open to that idea?
Do I do commissions like for other people?
Yeah.
I guess I could. I've only ever put out like 5 or 6 pieces. And it would be like, there's so many people that are way better than me. And that's not even me being like a humble thing. Like, have you seen my stuff? It's not the best. It's not.
Well, hey, NFTs is a thing now, so you never know. You could draw something and then next thing you know, it blows up.
Yeah. I mean, I had some decent, I can actually add this to, I don't know how to do this. I'll just put this in the. Well, actually, no. There's an art sharing chat that you guys can see. You'll see my stuff in there. All of my stuff is in my Discord. I know, like I found some old stuff, but you go like way to the top, like super top. You'll actually see my artwork as well.
Even Brianna is saying you should do commissions. You have some people out here who'll be interested.
We'll see. I did just buy that professional drawing tablet. It was like $500.
Yeah, put it to use.
Yeah, that's gonna be that. I like to play games while listening to podcasts, but I've kind of run out of PC games lately. Except for I've just finished one. Okay, I gotta tell you guys about this. Don't play it unless you are into super lewd stuff. Don't play it. But
okay,
it's a game called Succubus. All right, I've talked about it on the show the past couple times.
I want to get it. I know you're talking about.
So this game was sold to me on the rundown of it on the store page, which was like rip and tear. So it was like Doom. This is Doom. It's a first-person Doom where you play as a demon killing other demons. This is Doom, right? No, it's not Doom. I mean, it plays pretty well and it's fun. but I basically beat that game. But you play as a succubus, and one of the collectibles is just having sex, just watching like a 3-minute cutscene of you just doing it with another demon for like 3 minutes.
I'm kind of confused. How did we get to this anyway?
Because I like to, my weird left track from stuff that I do while I'm listening to a podcast, which would be drawing, right?
Oh, okay.
I normally game, and I was playing that game, which was very difficult to do and listen to something, and now I'm switching over to drawing while I'm listening to a podcast because I ran out of PC games because I beat that.
Oh, I'm down to try that game. I just don't know where to get it. So it's probably on Steam, right?
Good old games. I highly suggest good old games over Steam because DRM stuff. Steam.
Oh, okay.
Steam, you don't own a game; you own a license to a game. Whereas, GOG, you own a copy, and that matters to me. I still get things on Steam from time to time if I don't have a choice, but if I do have a choice, I will avoid Steam. That's just me.
Are you gonna have some merch coming through? I've seen you working on your new logo.
Eventually. I was just messing around with shit.
I liked it when you just like what you want to add, anything to it. I was like, yeah, color would be nice to it.
Oh, yeah. I was just seeing what works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's for later. We need more numbers first. Got numbers up there, Then we can work on the merch, But yeah, I've been planning a lot of stuff, but maybe like a Figma of my hunter. I mean, that would sell a lot. And she got to have the Garuga panties on because that's going to sell. So, yeah.
I don't know what is that? It's like
What?
a Funko Pop?
No. A Figma, like a high detailed action figure. Not even an action figure. It's more of a figure that's like that doesn't move. Kind of like a diorama figure.
Sure.
Okay, cool. I never heard of that.
Because I saw Rage Gaming did their plushies, so that gave me an idea. Like since my hunter is kind of like the face of my brand.
Yeah.
I think that would work. Some stuff.
So I'm just trying to understand. Is it kind of like almost like an amiibo type of size of a figure?
A little bigger. Probably a little bigger than that. A little taller.
Okay, cool. I never heard of that. I'm gonna look that up tonight. I mean, as for me, we're just working on helping out the wounded soldiers with a lot of military veterans in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not in terms of like really merch. It's just getting that out there, advertising about, hey, if you can contribute, there are like 3 stationed hospitals here in New York City that you can go to, especially one in the Bronx on Kingsbridge. Just take time to volunteer. That's just like sitting down, talk to a veteran, helping out in the hospital any way you can, and just giving back to people who protect and serve your country.
Wow.
We also have plans for like a charity in the future with Stack Up, but that's still is there, but we're still working on that, having that really happen.
That's amazing, dude.
Thank you.
That's really good.
That's all I'm doing. I don't really want to work on merch because merch is so complicated. Like you create something that you like, and then you put it out there, and then nobody wants to buy it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna buy 500 copies of this.
Oh, that's why you gotta. No, you don't think about what you like. That's why I'm selling my hunter with panties on. That's what they like.
See, maybe I need to talk to you because I don't know.
Yeah, it's like people gush all over me taking photos of my hunters, so let me sell a Figma of it and watch this shit sell out. It needs to look good. She's gonna have. Think about like the most skimpiest armors in certain Monster Hunter games, right? So the Garuga panties, even fucking Kanta uses that set. at least the bottoms. They're
Right.
literally panties, purple panties. So it's like, just have someone design a layered set that you use on your hunter, with a high quality figure. People will buy it. No, men will buy it. Men will buy it.
Okay.
So it's like,
So I always play a male
Thank you. That's a
hunter
cool idea.
with a full helm, right? I just that's the aesthetic I like when I'm playing.
yeah.
So it's not. I mean, that wouldn't be like merch at all for me.
With the muscle, like what's it called, skin model on top and everything, and the legs.
No.
And just a helmet on.
Full armor. I always full armor.
Oh,
I am full armor all the time. Like I just like if you've watched Full Metal Alchemist, I am the Full Metal.
I feel like that can reach a lot of people, like with the Warhammer community, D&D. You know, of course,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's still an avenue for that.
Um.
Oh, yeah,
that's
you don't.
great.
You could do like other things.
Well,
I'm only doing that because it just happens to be that way for me.
no, yeah, I know.
Okay,
Yeah, it
that's
just
fair.
well. So I do enjoy the Diablos armor quite a bit. Like I would say, if I were to choose like a full armor that does fit my style, Diablos is my favorite monster. So like it would be the Diablos armor, I would say.
That's pretty rad.
So like I guess you could incorporate that into a figure, because there is a piece that I did a while ago that is sort of like, it's my one piece where I showed like a bunch of people, different people hunting, and in that I am wearing the Diablos armor. In fact, yeah. I don't know if I can show that. I can actually pull that over and show that to chat, I think. Yeah. So,
While you're doing that, do you mind me going to the next question?
yeah, go ahead. But if chat can see that,
Is-
that's something I did there. Like me, Morg, Ace, and my brother Darth, who plays Cat, fighting a bloodbath. So
Yeah, that's on your Reddit page as well. I had liked that up. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So like that would kind of be what I would get into. But anyways, next question.
The question from Raiden is for Wyverian. He says, now that you plan on doing a bit more variety stuff, since you are branching away from Monster Hunter, what is next in your future for content? Got any ideas?
Elden Ring. That's
Oh.
like, I mean, yeah, Elden Ring. Like, why not? Like, all the Monster Hunter fans are hyped for that. Like,
It's a myth. That game is gonna come out in 2050, my G.
Oh man, I swear. So it's not giving off the same signs of Cyberpunk, but it's getting close to me.
nah, no, I
No,
wouldn't
what?
say that. No.
No.
No,
I'm
hold
just-
on.
I think it's a
I'm
good
not
idea.
saying that it's going to be bad. I'm saying that it's getting a little
Oh.
overhyped. So
Oh,
It looks fun.
well, yeah. You're right. It is. It is overhyped, but
yeah.
you know, at least it's gonna be good on release. I have that much.
No.
Right.
Yeah,
It
it is.
looks
It is
great.
not going to be the dumpster fire that was Cyberpunk on release. No, I don't think
It's
so.
definitely fucking trip, bro.
I never even
I
picked
just,
it
every
up.
time I get excited for that game, it's like, oh, we're gonna push it back. I'm glad that they do, because that means like they're working on the game to work out all the kinks. That's great. But
Yeah.
like, stop teasing me. Stop playing with me. You know, like just let me know you're gonna push it back to 2030, man. It's like I just invest now.
Outside of Metroid Dread, which I can't play yet because of the Bickering Bucks show. I know one of my shows we do a book club. We did No More Heroes 3, and now
Ooh, okay.
and I'm waiting on my buds to finish it. So one of the guys still has to finish it, because we all have to finish the game and then we talk about it, just like a book. Like you got to finish the book to talk about the book. So once he finishes that, we're going to do Dread. But like outside of that and the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, there's like nothing on the horizon for me that I care about up until Sunbreak and Elden Ring. Like those are it. Like as far as games. Like I can't think of anything else I'm excited for right now.
Yeah,
I'm scrolling through the chat because everybody's excited when you said Succubus. I'm sorry.
Oh, did they get excited for that? Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that game is horny as fuck. And I just like I did not expect that. I booted that game up and I was just like, "Oh, I have made a mistake." But it's fun, so I will finish it.
I'm sorry, we cut you off. What you gonna say?
Who, me?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. If it's true, my condolences, Poncho. He says that their grandpa has, is deceased. I'm sorry for that. If it is, I don't mean to laugh because some people come in and say those things. So I'm like, my condolences if that is true. I think we see something. My ex Mighty Peanut said, so next month's Fiesta, we're all gonna go again, right? Like when is?
Oh, I'd
is that?
love to go to something like that. I've always wanted to meet up with people because like I've talked. I mean, I've been doing this 4 years now. October 1st was 4 years of this podcast, and I'm like, I want to meet some people that I have talked to. Like I've talked to Vengeful Torture quite a bit over the years. He's actually done a couple shows with me, like on the regular. I'd like to meet him. Like, he's like one of the big Wolfie Melon, of course. We've talked several times. Of course, she's across the pond, as they say. She's in Germany now, so it'd be hard. But like, even meeting up with you guys would be great. Like, we haven't talked as much as I have with those other people, but like, meeting anybody in the community like that would be amazing. Although supposedly Ace and I are going to meet because I am going to his wedding in Vegas next fall.
Ooh, okay. Wait, next week you said?
Next fall.
Next fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is the plan. Is a destination
What is
wedding.
Monster Hunter Fiesta? Like I've never been. I have no idea what it.
I've heard of it
I don't know.
afterwards. Yeah.
I remember like X Mighty Peanut was doing like a time attack thing, and he was in a maid outfit as always, and that's all I really recall. I don't really know anything else about.
He wasn't
the
in a
event.
maid outfit there. That was at
Oh, E3.
That was at E3. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Okay, so then I don't have no idea.
The festa was actually that was really cool. Like it was in an open bar, and Yuri was there, and unfortunately, like Ryozo and producers weren't there, but like it was really fun. There was a speed run competition, and me and Peanut did compete. We didn't win, but we got a good time. So we got a good time. So I don't give a fuck about winning. But yeah, that's where I met a lot of people. Right before COVID hit, and it was cool seeing Henry or Herney on stage was awesome. I want more stuff like that for Monster Hunter. I want that shit every year or every other year where we all get together and see each other face to face. Like that's cool.
I'd be down.
So it's only in the West, it's not in the East.
No, it is in the East. We only got it
okay.
in the West one time.
Oh,
And
okay.
that
I
was-
don't know.
Yeah, that was in 2020. And the Festa's a big thing in Japan. It happens every year. I think every year.
Yeah, it's like
but yeah.
Monster. It's like Monster Hunter 2. It just never came.
But yeah,
I got to play that game on a ROM, on an emulator.
Oh,
it was great. I will say, oh damn. Have you considered ever having Socks on your pod now since he's not in
Oh, dude.
Capcom anymore?
I have tried
I
so
can't
many
talk.
times to get him on. I don't even think he knows who we are, honestly.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he does. He has eyes everywhere. At least
Sure.
he did.
I mean, but I couldn't talk to him because he was Europe, right? And you're supposed to go through Yuri here, and
Oh well, yes, but
now that that's
can
not
talk-
true. Yeah.
Well, even then, you could talk to him. I mean,
I
don't know
tried.
if I could-
100% I tried, and I just never got a
Oh.
response. And then I have talked to Yuri through DMs on Twitter. And the last thing he said to me was, "We'll see in 2017." So, yeah, he was. I've actually had better luck contacting. There's a translator that works on Monster Hunter, also named Yuri. I've talked to him a couple times. Who is in Japan and does work on Monster Hunter, and he had to check with his boss if he was allowed to come on. The answer was no. So, I don't know, but I've had some awesome people come on. Anyways, I've had NCH on here, who's in Singapore.
Nice.
NCH was like a really cool one to have on. G Rank Curry Becca was on. That was a big episode for me to have him on. Because like I said, that was an emotional episode for me, and not because of G Rank Curry Pecco, because like you can actually hear it. 15 minutes before we started recording is when my wife said she was going to leave me. So like, I was just like, I can't handle this right now, so we're going to record. So like, I was like focused on talking to G Rank, and I loved that episode, but that was like a rough episode for me. But it was still awesome to talk to him. I've tried to get him back on a couple times because he did do 999, and he does stream quite a bit of Monster Hunter as well. He hasn't been able to come back on. I've talked to a Cantor X about coming on, because before the Reddit community, I was in the Wikia community that some people came from in the Monster Hunter. So I was in some of the old school Monster Hunter community. I just haven't been able to get people on. A lot of people are actually worried about how their voice sounds. They're very, some people are very conscious about that. So it's hard to get some people on. Just be like, I mean, I'm not particularly in love with my voice. You don't hear me singing all the time. So like, it's okay. But you know, some people, it's just a thing. So yeah, it's been awesome having all these different people on. It's just hard to get some official people, right? Because like they're really, really strict about what they can say and do on a podcast. Or sometimes people just aren't interested. Like I get that feeling from Gaijin Hunter. You know, Gaijin Hunter always said like, you know, how would I? He said that in a couple of videos. How would I talk to someone in the United States? I got a Japan schedule and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I mean, I'll work with you. I will work with you. Like I have stayed up till 4 a.m. to do a podcast before. It has happened. But now it's okay. They got their own program. He's got his own podcast now that he's doing with Ruriken, right? Is that how you say it?
Oh, I don't know. I know. I heard the name, but I don't know.
Well, Third Fleet, right? Third Fleet podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I have had, if you guys remember the Carve, the guys who did the It's Super Effective podcast for Pokemon. They did the Carve for a while.
Yeah.
I've had them on, which was cool. Because we kind of felt like podcast brothers because we started almost the same time. They were way bigger than us because they brought in over their. I mean, when you're the most popular Pokemon podcast and you start a Monster Hunter podcast, there's crossover there. People will come.
Yeah.
So in numbers they obliterated us, but they were really cool. I really like them. So yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to get a hold of people like Socks and that kind of thing. But Eric's has always been really cool, and Wolfie as well. Wolfie Melon. Eric's is just like, hey, you know, when I get the time. But he normally responds within a day if I actually ask him or something. But I don't bug him often because that boy is busy. He is doing stuff constantly. So I don't know. What if you could get someone on the PVC? Who would you want, Wyverian? Like, who would be like your big like? Oh man, we've made it.
tell you the truth, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I don't really look at anyone like that anymore. It's like,
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah, nah, I don't know. I don't care who it is as long as you just have chemistry with us. Like,
Sure.
I don't really care. But I mean, if we could get like Lil Nas X, we get Lil Nas X to talk about
He's
some
associated
games,
with
bro.
100 Thieves. He's at 100 Thieves, so that would work out really great.
Like
He'll probably make a song about Monster Hunter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Nas X, let's go. Like that's it. Because I think he's cool. He's probably the coolest celebrity right now to me. So, yeah.
He seems friendly, so like, why not? He's getting really closer into gaming with League of Legends and Valorant, so.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I'm kind of with you, Wyverian, on the whole like not getting hyped up about celebrities and that kind of stuff. Because when I did meet Dave Chappelle, I didn't recognize him at first, so I just talked to him like a dude, and then someone was like, "Wow, you were like really cool with Dave there," and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." I mean, like I realized halfway through the conversation who he was, but like he was just a guy talking about chess, so like
Yep.
it was cool. So I get you there, like not really wanting to make a big deal out of it. But I would like to have someone who has like, I don't know. It would be nice to have socks on, to be honest. To have someone with like, with that. And not just for like, oh, we've made it big kind of thing. It'd just be like, it'd be nice to hear the stories and the insights of that he could talk about, right? Like, obviously he can't talk about everything, but I bet you there'd be some really cool stories. I bet you there'd be.
I think Raiden said a really good quote here. He says, "It's good not to be hyped over celebrities. They bleed just like you bleed. They want peace like how you want to get away from toxicity." I think that's fair.
Yeah, I know. We're all people. No matter how many followers you have, you're still a person.
But you still like, at least for me,
You can admire someone.
Comes to the chat or Mighty Peanut coming to chat, I'm like, don't nerd out. They're normal people like you. They live in the Bronx too. They live in New York. Just relax. Just do what you gotta do. Like it's it's just like you getting acknowledgement from like your fellow peers is like a really great sense of gratification. It's like
now,
you don't even want to think like they're even your like you're even in their thoughts, let alone like come through and support you. So
yeah, I mean I get that too, right? So back to my D&D articles. My very first one I ever did. You guys probably don't know this if you're not big into D&D, but there's a monster called the Flumph. It's like a floating jellyfish, right? It's goofy. It gulps air, it floats, and it flies in the air. And it was the first article I ever did for this whole thing, and I've written 71 of these things now, right?
Jesus.
And
okay.
About a year and a half after I wrote that article, I got a DM from someone. I don't remember their name, but they're like, "Hey, I wanted to thank you for the Flumph article," and he's like, "Back when so and so and I created the Flumph," I was like, "Wait, hold on, wait, you're the guy at TSR who helped create this monster. You're the guy who worked at the source of Dungeons and Dragons who created the Flumph."
Wow.
And then he was like, "I loved that people still love this stupid monster that we came up with and that you took it to such a level." And I was like, "That's it. That's all I need. That's all I ever need. I don't care who reads these articles. The original creator of this monster just gave me a kudos, and I'm good." So I get that.
Bro, pride. That's awesome, dude. That's freaking awesome, man.
I was like over the moon. I posted it all over Facebook and stuff, like screen grabbed the little message and everything. It was nuts. So yeah, I get that. The validation there is something.
Yeah, I think like stuff like that, even though like I think Raiden, because he's in chat, he's like one of a good friend of mine. Like we don't really always take the time to think about we influence each other on such a magnitude level where just getting acknowledgement from one another or just like, just being amongst one another is very empowering. Like you don't have to do much, but just be in each other's presence or just like, hey, yo, what's good? How you doing? To let them know, like, I appreciate you for your support. I appreciate you for who you are. And that just propels people to just keep going. Like that is just free fuel. That is just great biofuel.
Yeah, I kind of had the opposite effect of like, hey, this guy, like, he thought he'd be like, oh yeah, you know me because of this channel. So like the guy I met at the that I appeared on his YouTube thing at the Flesh and Blood tournament, like he wasn't like, oh, you should know me, but he was like, oh yeah, so you haven't heard of me, okay, well here's my channel, and he was very nice about it. But then like literally for the next like 20 minutes that I was near that guy, people were like, dude, I love your stuff. You know, like coming up to him being like, it's so cool to meet you here. I was like, I had no idea who this guy was. No idea. What's going on? And there was like, I saw it happen like 6 or 7 times. I'm like, okay, I guess I just didn't know. But
I think like how Raiden's saying in chat is like, he basically has said like, you don't put like celebrities on pedestals. Like you just, they are who they are, and like regardless of who's in front of you, like to not like be in that type of energy. I understand that, but I think we all more or less have just like that one peer or that one friend, even a family member that you just love. Like you're like, yo, let me call up my cousin Greg because he's mad funny. Like when he comes over, we'll be goofing around playing Sly Cooper or something. You just have that human interaction that you enjoy and you embrace as your endorphin. So it's like similar to just being a fan to a celebrity. You're a fan to your loved ones. You know, you're a fan to your fellow hunter.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was over the moon having Wyverian you come on the first time, even though I was in a weird spot when we did that episode. I might have sounded a little bit off. I was over the moon to have you and Sammy on because I really like the PVC podcast, and even though I haven't been keeping up with it, like you guys make some legit funny stuff. Like there is some like legit comedy in those shows, and I would like to be funny. I am not funny all the time, but I would like to be funny. That was another thing that we lost with Morg. Morg was straight up hilarious at times. Like
yeah, he was a cannon.
he was a hoot. There's a behind the scenes thing that I'll have you guys about Morg. So we were waiting on a guest to show up, and he said he's going to be 5 minutes. And Morg is like, "All right, I'm going to go take a shower." And I thought he was joking. So the guy gets there for the guest, and so I'm chatting a little bit with him, you know, like we little do before the recording, you know, like, hey, you know, how's it going kind of stuff. And it gets to be like 15 minutes later, and Morg, you can hear him just like rush down, sort of sit down, and then he's just like, all right, I got my shower, we're good to go. And I'm like, oh, you actually went and took a shower? Are you kidding me?
Gotta get clean.
And it was just like, but that was before we did video recording. It was all just audio then. So this is like, what? Why? Why would you do that? Like, oh, it was hilarious. I mean, he'd do bits where he'd slam a door, and then one time, like, a whole mattress fell onto his whole getup and destroyed everything. Like, it was just hilarious. That was when we did have cameras, so everyone saw it. It's just
that old Morg.
Oh man, he was awesome. He was good. But I will say I do not in any way. He needed to go and do what he needed to do. Yeah, I don't have bad blood for him leaving at all. And like I said, I am very glad to have Sasha on now, because that's what brought her on. It's like, okay, we need someone else, because it wasn't sure that Ace was going to be able to stay on at the time. So it was just me and Pan. And I was like, 2 is not enough. We need more than 2. So we got Sasha. And now everyone was busy this week. That was the thing that was stressing me out. I was like, oh my gosh, if these guys don't come on at all today, I'm going to have to cancel again. And I can't do 2 weeks in a row. I can't do that. You know how many people I'll lose? I was already worried about missing 1 week. So is there, with you branching out, and you have already branched out, Preacher, from Monster Hunter, what how soon are you doing this, Wyverian? Has this already happened? Because I haven't been able to catch up like today with anything.
That's a good question.
It'll happen fairly soon, but it's not. I only said what I said just to prepare.
Yeah.
Because there's been little projects I've been thinking about doing, like talking about Twitter, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about other general gaming stuff. Monster Hunter is still going to be a big thing, but I want to capitalize on gaming topics that are hot topics too, that I find interesting. So, for example, I was thinking of doing a Genshin video. I might still do that.
Okay.
But I took a break from Genshin, so
I never played it. My brother played it. I just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, yeah, it's good. Community is a little annoying sometimes, but it's good. But yeah, like something as simple as me, just thoughts just come into my head, and I feel like a lot of them have to be omitted because I'm doing Monster Hunter. So now I can legit just be like, hey, let's talk about what's going on with NFTs, or let's talk about why Twitter sucks. Because Twitter as a platform doesn't suck. It's the people on it that suck. Well, you know what? Yeah,
no. Yeah.
It is.
Don't take it back. Say what it is.
It is. And, part of the reason why it is that way is because Twitter, you don't have a lot of characters to write what you want to say. So everything just is missing context. Unless you write a twit longer or some shit, like, someone's always going to take what you're saying as a hot take. When in reality, probably just your thoughts. It's like shower thoughts or something. So Twitter is like conditioned people to be very like hostile,
aggressive
on the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah,
I go ahead, my bad.
No, I was gonna say the one time I've had a really negative interaction on Twitter, I just sort of like what I did is I just sort of responded like, oh cool, thanks, and just sort of like didn't say anything else. So I talked earlier, we kicked someone off of the server here. And it was actually, I hate that that it involved me, and not that I did anything wrong, but this person got super aggressive towards me on the Discord because I disagreed with them on a point. And I made a goof. I said something that wasn't true, and then I corrected myself at one point. But like I said that Kushala wasn't in Generations Ultimate or something like that. Like during this argument, and then I was like, wait, no, I'm an idiot. Never mind, right? And I found them on Twitter on accident, right? Like through someone else. Like I wasn't looking for them. And I was like, who's this? They kind of remind me of that person I kicked off. And I go and click on their profile, and their pinned tweet is them tweeting about like, oh man, look how stupid this guy was. And it was literally a screenshot of the Discord fight between me and them. And I was just like, oh, what the, what on earth? So I was just like, okay, cool. Like there, and it was like taken out of context too. Like, look at what this idiot said. Kushala wasn't, and I was like, yeah. And then I corrected myself like 3 sentences later. Like, yeah, I made a mistake. Oops. Like, whatever. So like, that's probably about the worst I've had. But I've never had anyone sort of like on Twitter directly call me out like in the moment. Like you have a lot. It seems like, but then again, I'm not in the same position as you. I don't, do the same stuff, and I don't, I don't have as many eyeballs.
It's not it's annoying sometimes, but I kind of find it kind of fun to just bicker with people on Twitter because a lot of the time I'm laughing on the other side of the screen, like especially when I say something sarcastic and someone doesn't understand it and they're getting upset.
Yeah,
I'm just it's funny to me. It's like
what didn't you get? Fun. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm weird. But yeah, I don't know.
It's fine.
Yeah, my I'm dying. My brain is melting because I've drank too much vodka.
Hey, yeah, he's done. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I need food.
Ice Mountain here. That's what I've been doing.
I want to order some White Castle. I'm hungry.
No, it's all good. We can wrap it up. I thank you guys for coming on. I know it's been a bit of a ranty and rambling episode, but hey, that's the headspace we're at today.
Yeah, a lot of energy got out.
There's a lot of things going on for me. I was all excited coming off the back of the tournament I was at, and I was gonna talk about that. And it's like, oh, now I have two guests that may not know what I'm talking about, so I'll temper it a bit.
It's cool.
But yeah, I'll do check that out, Preacher. Though I'm very much an advocate for this card game that I've been into.
I'm gonna try. It seems a little overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, bro, I want to win that money. I'm not gonna lie, but like, that's a lot to learn.
I bought a starter deck. My brother and I tried to play, and then we watched a tutorial. I watched a tutorial on YouTube here in my room after we got done playing, and I was like, oh. like there was so many things that we got wrong and we didn't know what to do and that kind of stuff. And my brother being like a really good Magic the Gathering player, and he was still confused about some things. It is a little complicated, but yeah.
Like, I'll have to even see if there's a popularity in New York City. I'm sure maybe there's a small group. I just have to find them.
Yeah, imagine how I am. Podunk, Ohio, where I'm trying to grow a community here. Like, there's
you have to start from the ground up.
Maybe 7 people I know that are interested right now, and then they're split between 2 stores because they can't decide between the stores. So
that just means tournaments. Just have tournaments, yeah.
But yeah, it's been it's been great. But do check that out. And Wyverian, thank you for sharing what you're doing in the future. I think it's something that all 3 of us have in common, having branched out to some degree. It was a little rough for me to do that, and I'm sure that it wasn't an easy decision for you as well, because there is that fear of so what if people don't like it or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had a very fuck it energy going into it though, because I was just off the back of coming out of the whole divorce stuff. So I was just like, hey, we're good. I'm done now. I have moved on with my life. This is a new me, and we're doing it. I also had a strict rule of no cussing in my podcast up until I went from straight up G rating to R coming back. I had a full switch of tone when we came back, and some people didn't enjoy that. So I lost some people, but then people get used to what you're doing. And then, they start coming back. So, Wyverian, I wish you the best of luck on, this journey forward. And I'm sure people are going to love what you're doing, no matter if it's Monster Hunter or, Elden Ring, Genshin, whatever you want to talk about. Because a lot of times we forget that people are following us for our takes and our personalities, as cliquey as that can be at times.
That's what it is.
As... they're here for the personality, and sometimes, they want to hear stuff that they like to hear too. So, and I'm sure if you're touching into things that, that are related to, I'm sure people will enjoy that, because one thing I like to say is a person is never one thing. There's never like Wyverian is not just the Monster Hunter guy. Like there's more to Wyverian than anyone sees, right? So I like to say that even about you. We talked about politicians. There's more to everyone than we see. That's so. More power to you. I'm glad to have you guys on. Glad to be part of just the community, and glad to talk to some people. So, anything else to say tonight, guys? Before we wrap it up.
I think that was well said. That was beautiful, man. That was awesome.
Thanks. I try. I try to be a wordsmith. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll peace out. And next week I should have the rest of my podcast crew, and we'll talk about something because we didn't get to talk about what we're going to talk about next week. We normally talk about like, hey, we're going to do this next week, and I've got no idea right now. So
good night, everybody.
Good night. See ya, and have fun watching Dune. Movie's fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
See ya.